little yarnivores and spiderettes. Fiber Spider back again with another tutorial just for you. And today I'm going to show you how to crochet another stitch. It's another one of those where I couldn't find a name, so I am naming it the Simple Shell Stitch because it is really, really simple. It is a 2-row repeat, which you know I love the quick repeats. And it is very easy, it's lovely, it's lacy, and I thought that this is just a gorgeous, gorgeous stitch, and I wanted to share it with you very, very much. And for this I used, I believe it was Red Heart Super Saver with a size I crochet hook. And for today's example, I'm going to be using Simply Soft. It's stuff that I had lying around, and so I thought, make use of it. So, without further ado, let's get started. Alrighty, so I have my ball of yarn here and my size I crochet hook. Now for this particular stitch, you're going to need to do a chain in multiples of 7 plus an additional 5 stitches, chains. So I did 21 chains, and then I added on another 5 chains at the end. You can make this as narrow or as wide as you want to, so you can make a scarf, a wrap, a blanket, a table runner, what have you. So that's one of the nice things about these stitches. You can make them as big or as small as you want to. So after doing your multiple of 7 chains plus an additional 5, you're going to do a double crochet into the 5th chain from the hook. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, right into this little chain right here with a double crochet. And then you chain 2. Now we're going to skip the next 6 chains, and we're going to go into the next one with a double crochet, chain 3, double crochet. So skipping the next 6, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Yep, okay, so into that 7th one from our last stitch there, we're going to do a double crochet. Like so. And then chain 3 and a double crochet into that same stitch. There we are. And so we're going to repeat this. So that's going to be chain 2. And we're going to skip the next 6 chains once again. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So into that 7th chain, double crochet, chain 3, and another double crochet into that same stitch, chain 2, and I've already reached the end here. So, excuse me, I'm still got a little bit of a cold. Either it's getting better or it's getting worse. I don't know which. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So into my last chain, going to do a double crochet, chain 1, double crochet. All into that last chain. All right, and you can just cinch that up a little bit. And that is our foundation for the rest of this piece. And so rows 2 and 3 are going to be the repeat, but don't you worry, I'm going to go through it several times because I really want to make sure that you get it. All right, so we'll keep moving on. Alrighty, so for row 2, we're going to start by chaining up 3. Turn the work. And this chain 3 counts as a double crochet. And so we're going to do 4 double crochets into this chain 1 space right here. So that's 1, 2, 3, and 4. So technically we have a total of 5 double crochets, including that first chaining of 3. Okay, so then we're going to skip this chain 2 space right here and into the next space right in here. Okay, we're going to do 8 double crochets into this chain 3 loop, all into this loop here. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And yes, I like to double check just because. All right. All right, so now we're going to do the same thing into this next chain space right here. No chains in between, just going right in. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, oops, I think this is 7, and 8, and yes, I am going to double check. 4 and 4, perfect. Okay, so now into this last space here, we're going to do a total of 5 double crochets. So into this space, it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. Now on the 5th one, you could do your double crochet into this chain. However, I find it's easier and it really doesn't look any different if you just go into the loop. So that's 5 on the end, and that is the end of row 2. Looking pretty already. Alrighty, so for the 3rd row, I'm going to start by chaining up 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Turn the work, and this counts as a double crochet and a chain 1. And so we're going to start by doing a double crochet into this first double crochet right here. Okay, and then we're going to chain 2 because we're going to make these bottom setup loops like we did in the very beginning here. So after doing our chaining of 4 and a double crochet into that first double crochet, we chain 2, and we're going to skip 8 double crochets. So that's 4 here and then 4 here. So in between the 4 and 4 is where we're going to stitch. We're not actually going to stitch into the stitches. So as you can see, we have 4 double crochets here. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So in between them, right in between, we're going to do a double crochet. So you're not actually stitching in a stitch, you're stitching in between stitches. Okay, so it's a double crochet, then a chain 3, and another double crochet in between those stitches. You see? Like so. Alright, then we're going to do the same thing again, but first we need to chain 2, and so we're skipping these 4 and the next 4, and we're going in between the stitches, in between these 4 and these 4, so going right in between, doing a double crochet, chain 3, and another double crochet in between those stitches. Okay, and then chain 2, and so we're skipping all the way to the very end. Now in this case, yes, you would want to actually stitch into this turning chain here. So doing a stitch right into the top of this turning chain here. We're going to be doing a double crochet, chain 1, and double crochet into that same stitch of the turning chain. And that is the end of row 3. Okie dokie. Alrighty, so now we're back to row 2, which is this row where we did our shells. So I'm going to start by chaining up 3, turn the work, and we're going to do 4 double crochets into this chain 1 space. That's 1, 2, 3, and 4. Then skipping to our next chain 3 space, going to do 8 double crochets. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Then into the next chain 3 space, 8 more doubles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Then into the last chain space here, doing a total of 5 doubles. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So it's really starting to come together. Isn't it pretty? All right, so going back to row 3, going to chain up 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, turn the work, double crochet into the first double crochet stitch. Okay, chain 2, and so then skipping the next 8 double crochets, going in between the 4 of this next shell and the 4 of itself, going in between the stitches, like so. It's a double crochet, chain 3, and double crochet, chain 2, and then going to the next shell, skipping, and then going in between the 4, right in the middle, double crochet, chain 3, and a double crochet, chain 2, and then into the very last turning chain, we're going to do a double crochet, chain 1, double crochet. And I always do these beginning turning chains a bit too tight for my own good, but with a little bit of patience, we shall persevere. So, double crochet, chain 1, and a whoops. Not a whoops, a double crochet. That's what we need, not a whoops. There we go. And that's our row 3 again. And I'll do one more row 2 just for you. Alrighty, so going back to row 2, chaining up of 3, 1, 2, 3, turn the work, and then 4 double crochets into this chain 1 space. Now you could end off your project on either row. I always say to each their own, but personally I think that ending it on this row, row 2, it would look nicer. So I've got my initial chaining up of 3, my additional 4, skipping right over to that next chain 3 space with 8 double crochets, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Okay, into the next chain 3 space, 8 more double crochets, and 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. There we go. And then into the last chain 1 space, 5 double crochets. All right. Now, what you could quite conceivably do, actually, is instead of doing, this is just, a variation of, what we've just been doing. What you could quite conceivably do is instead of doing 8 double crochets, what you could do is do 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets within this space here. You could very well do that, and that would create a different look. And because it's a chaining of 2, that compensates for the 2 double crochets right in the center. Actually, you know what? I think I'm going to do that right now, and I'm going to do another row 3, and then I will show you what I mean as far as, just the sake of variation. All right, so I'm going to do a row 3, and then I'm going to show you what I mean, just because I like to give you guys options. All right, so I'll be right back. All right, so I did another row 3 off camera, and now I'm going to do what I said I was going to by chaining up 3. Now the first and last clusters I would leave the same, So you would have your initial chaining up of 3 counting as a double crochet, and then do your regular 4. Okay. And then going into that chain 3 space, let's see how this works. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, because the 2 chains counts as 2 doubles. So that's 3, 4, 5, and then 3 more doubles. So that's 6, 7, 8. Going into the next one with 3 doubles, 2 chains, 3 doubles. So it's 3 doubles, 2 chains, and 3 doubles. Okay. And nope, no chains in between. Going right into the last chain space with 5 doubles. All right. Yeah, a little different. It still works. It's still essentially the same thing, just with a slight variation. Now, here's what I'm thinking. When you go into the next quote-unquote row 4, still going to chain up 4, and then doing your double crochet into the first double crochet, then chaining of 2. Now, when you're skipping across and you're going in between, you would have gone in between your 4 and your 4. Now, you're just going into that chain 2 space. So, we're going to do our stitch into here, a double crochet, chain 3, and double crochet right into there, right into that space. Makes it a little bit easier, and it's another variation. So chaining 2, and then into that chain 2 space of the previous shell. So it's double, chain 3, and double. Then chain 2, and then into the turning chain of the last shell. The last, there we go. Double crochet, chain 1, double crochet. So in this particular variation, the row 3 would not change. The row 2 is the slight change, as you can see right here. So then let's just see how it looks doing it once more. So chaining up of 3, turn the work, 4 doubles into that first chain 1 space, there we go. And then skipping right along to this chain 3 space here, 3 doubles, chain 2, and 3 doubles. go. See, it creates a bit of a different look functionally and number-wise because the stitches are accounting for themselves. Instead of 8 double crochets, it's 6 double crochets with a chain 2 in between. Functionally, it works exactly the same. So it just goes to show you, with a little bit of tweaking here and there, a little bit of tinkering and fiddling and finagling, you can create variations on pre-existing patterns without having to freak yourself out over it. I mean, I'm good at that anyway, but freaking myself out needlessly. All right, so, and then we have more variations going on here. I think that's pretty neat, don't you? And then into the last 5 doubles. And I think that is as far as I'm going to go into this. So it gives you something to think about and to play around with. So down here we have our original pattern, and then scooch up onto here, and we have our variation. Think about that. Now, here's an idea. You could go back and forth between the variation and the original. So like a row of regulars, then a row of variations, and so on and so forth. Another idea that you could do is, for instance, so we had 8 total here, and technically speaking, we had 8 total here. Now, what you could do is you could do, say, instead of 3 doubles, 2 chains, 3 doubles, you could do 2 chains, sorry, 2 doubles, excuse me, 2 doubles, then 4 chains, and 2 doubles. Because, again, that would equate to a total of 8 stitches. So it's 2 doubles, 4 chains, 2 doubles. So you could go from a full 8 to 3 and 3 to 2 and 2, and you wouldn't have to change the math at all, and that's kind of the beauty of the idea. So you could do a full 8 and then a separated 8, and then even a more separated 8 by doing 2 doubles, chain 4, 2 doubles, all into that space. You wouldn't have to change row 3, just row 2. Isn't that interesting? So you could do a full, then a partial, and then the smaller one, and then going back. So it would alternate as you go up. So you could do an 8, and then a 6, and then a 4, and then 8, 6, 4, 8, 6, 4, 8, 6, 4. And that would give it a sort of a gradation, a graduation of different, variations. That's kind of neat. Again, it's something to think about, and I hope I didn't bore you to tears, but I always like to try to inspire you all to think outside of the box, to create new things and to do new things. Because, well, knowledge is power and sharing is caring, and I like to do that with you guys. So listen, my dears, I hope you liked this video, and if you did, please hit the little thumbs up button down below. Your support means ever so much to me. And if you have any questions, comments, what have you, please do so in the comments section down below. I love hearing from you. And if you haven't hit the subscribe button already, please do that as well, because I try to post videos as often as I can, and that way you'll be in the know. So listen, my dears, until next time, I want you to stay inspired, stay caffeinated, and above all, stay stitching. I love you guys, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.